All right, today is still 6.4. We are multiplying radicals. When you're multiplying radicals, there are two very strict rules you have to abide by. First, you can multiply anything, okay? Meaning that the insides don't have to be the same. Like adding and subtracting, the number inside has to be the same. When you multiply, it does not, okay? But the only things you can multiply is you can only multiply outside with outside. And you can only multiply inside with inside. Oopsies. So whatever is outside can never move inside, and what's inside can never move outside. I'm going to show you how I do it. And if it doesn't make sense, I can break it down even more so that it's a little more organized if you need it to be. Okay. So problem number 1 is going to say square root of 3 times square root of 7. Since they are both inside, I can multiply them. So this becomes the square root of 21. Can 21 break down at all? No, just 7 and 3, but there's no groups of 2, right? So that would be my final answer, square root of 21. Number 2 says the cube root of 16 times the cube root of 4. Now, here's where you have two choices, okay? You can break these down, then you can multiply, then you can break them down again. I think that's a lot of work. You can also multiply these and get a bigger number. 16 times 4 is not that big of a number. However, they're not always going to be that small, okay? Here is what I do. I rewrite this as 1 cube root of 16 times 4. So I have both of them underneath there, 16 times 4, okay? Then what I do is I simplify it. So 16 breaks down into 2 and 8. 8 breaks down into 2 and 4. And 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. And I also have to break the 4 down. So that 4 breaks down into 2 times 2. Everybody follow so far, okay? So instead of actually multiplying them together and then breaking them down, I just start here and break them down, okay? So what I really have is the cube root of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2's, which we have already done before. And I need the cube root, which means I need groups of 3. So numbers outside multiply. So 2 times 2 is 4. Is there anything left on the inside? No. Okay. That one was a perfect number. That's why it came out to just a 4. So let's go try it again with different numbers. So if I give you the 4th root of 9x cubed times the 4th root of 18x squared. So I can rewrite this as the 4th root of 9 times 18 x to the 5th. Where did I get x to the 5th from? Combined my x's. X cubed times x squared is x to the 5th. So if I want to, I can break this down. Not if you want to, you need to. Break this down. 9 is 3 times 3. 18 is 3 times 6, which is 2 times 3. So this becomes the 4th root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 2, x to the 5th. And what am I looking for? Groups of 4. So I have to take all 4 of the 3's out. How many x's can I take out? I can take one group of x out, and how many x's will be left? 1x. So what will my final answer say? 3x, fourth root of 2x. Questions before we get to the harder stuff that you have to stay organized? Okay. All right, so the next 4 problems are all going to do with organization. So if you write all over your paper, you're going to be hard to get these to go where they're supposed to. Okay, so the next problem says square root of 7 times x plus square root of 2. So this is where it matters if something is inside the radical or outside the radical. Okay, so my square root, the 7 is inside, the x is outside, the 2 is inside. We still have to distribute this. It has to distribute to both of them. I cannot multiply 7 times x because the 7 is inside, the x is outside. So when I actually multiply those, it will be x square roots of 7. Can I actually multiply square root of 7 times square root of 2? Yes, because they're both inside the radical. So I'd be plus the square root of 14. Can square root 7 break down? Can square root 14 break down? No. 2 times 7, is that anything? No. So this would be my final answer. Okay. So number 5 says the cube root of x, parentheses, cube root of 6 minus cube root of x squared. Well, this one's easier because they are all located inside. So that makes it very easy to multiply. So this would actually multiply when I distribute. So x times 6 would be the cube root of 6x. And then since the second one's also inside, x times x squared would be the cube root of x cubed. Can 6x break down? No. Can x cubed break down? Yes. How many x's are in x cubed? 3. And what do I need? Groups of 3. So what is the cube root of x cubed? It's just x. So my final answer would be cube root of 6x minus x. All right, we got 3 left. Number 6 is going to say square root of a minus square root of b times square root of a plus square root of b. So again, this one's not too bad because everything is located inside. So this is foiling. So square root a times square root of a is the square root of a squared. Then I have square root of a times square root of b, which would give me a positive square root of ab. Then I have to do the negative b squared, or negative square root of b, sorry. So the negative square root of b times the square root of a is a negative square root of ab. And the negative square root of b times the positive square root of b with a negative b squared. What is the square root of a squared? It is a. What happens to a positive square root ab and a negative square root ab? And then what is the square root of b squared? So a minus b would be my answer. Okay. All right, 2 left. I say no. Hurry up, Nick. Did you get it? Right faster. All right, number 7 says square root 3 plus square root 7 all squared. What does that mean? You have to write it again. It's times itself. So this really means square root of 3 plus square root of 7 times square root of 3 plus square root of 7. Again, it stays simple because they are all located inside. Okay. So this against FOIL, what is square root 3 times square root 3? Square root 9, or if you already know it, then that's fine. What is square root 3 times square root 7? Square root of 21. Then you have to do the second one. Square root 7 times square root 3 is square root 21. Plus square root 7 times square root 7 is square root of 49. What is the square root of 9? Is 3. What is square root 21 plus square root 21? It is not square root of 42. You can never add what's inside. The insides don't change. What's outside? So it's 1 plus 1, which would give me 2 square roots of 21. And then what is the square root of 49? 7, but I'm not done yet because then I can combine. So 3 plus 7 is 10 plus 2 square roots of 21. Questions? Okay, let's do the last one. This is the one you really have to stay organized. Sorry, here you go. All right, if I have 5 square roots of 2 plus 2 square roots of 3 times 4 square roots of 2 minus 3 square roots of 3. So this is where it gets tricky because outside times outside, inside times inside, okay? So the first two things I'm multiplying are 5 square roots of 2 and 4 square roots of 2. So outsides would be 5 times 4, which gives me 20. And inside would be 2 times 2, which gives me 4. So the first thing I have is 20 square roots of 4. Yes, ma'am? How come on the last one you weren't able to add together because that's adding. This is multiplying. So adding, it's like fractions. Adding, they have to be the same denominator, right? But multiplying, I can multiply anything. So it's the same thing. I can multiply anything. But when I'm adding, they have to be the same number inside. That tells you you can add them, okay? All right, so I did first, so outers. So I have 5 times -3, which would give me -15. And then inside I have 2 times square root 3, which would give me square root of 6. So my inside numbers would be 2 times 4, which gives me 8. And then 3 times 2, which gives me square root of 6. Everybody see what's happening here, okay? And then my last numbers would be 2 times -3, which gives me -6. And then 3 times 3, which gives me square root of 9. So let's go break it down. What is the square root of 4? 2. What is 2 times 20? Is 40. Okay. Now, here's adding. So they have to have the same inside. Since they both have a square root of 6, I can actually do what it says. So what is -15 plus 8? 7. -7 square roots of 6. And then what is the square root of 9? Is 3. So what is 3 times -6? Is -18. And then once again, combine like terms. So what is 40 minus 18? 22, and then minus 7 square roots of 6. Questions? The only other way I know how to teach this is using the box method, which I'll be happy to teach if you don't understand this. I'm not going to teach it to the whole class because I think a lot of us understand this and I don't want to confuse you. If you don't understand this, then we can get a little small group and I can teach you the box method that just keeps it organized, okay? Your problems are on Delta Math, and if I were you, I'd make sure they get done.